Good morning. Happy Monday. I'm having a nice iced oat milk latte here. I get this chameleon cold brew from Costco, and I normally like hot coffee, but I have to say, and I drink my coffee black usually, but with oat milk, this cold brew is just so delicious. Anyways, good morning. How is your heart this morning? I hope you were well. I hope you had a good weekend. I had a great weekend. If anything, perhaps I've been a little too busy. It seems to be the new theme. I don't know if anybody else is sort of like vaccinated and kind of the world around you is kind of getting back a little bit closer to normal. At least in Texas that is happening. I know that in other parts of the country that's happening a little differently, a little bit on a different timeline, and certainly other parts of the world are not seeing the vaccination rates. So maybe I should stop talking about it actually, because, well, I don't know, it's real and it's what I'm going through, so I'm gonna tell you about it. But I definitely see that this is not the experience that we're all having. But I feel like I've been frenzying a little bit and gotten myself a little overcommitted and too busy, and like now there's suddenly, I went from there being basically very few options of things to do and people to see to like all of the options. And one thing about my personality that maybe you gleaned from chatting with me is that I love everything. Like, I'm such an enthusiastic human being, and I love doing things, and I love learning things and new experiences. And so if someone says to me, do you want to do, it doesn't even, like, I don't know, like, do you want to go to an auto mechanics class? I'd be like, oh, that sounds really cool. And then I probably go, wait, I'm not even remotely interested in that. Why do I think that that's cool? But my brain, like, I'm just like, oh, yes, I haven't done that before. That sounds amazing. So that's something that I have to be very mindful of, because I can overcommit myself to things, and then the things that are deeply, like, internally, intrinsically important to me get kind of shunted to the side by whatever I have scheduled. Good morning. Yes, David, cold brew is delicious. It is also less acidic, so it's better on your tummy. And of course, when you have it with delicious oat milk, it's very creamy and wonderful. And good morning, Scott. Are you drinking coffee too? I got kind of missing my hot coffee this morning, but you know, got to break it up sometimes. So, yes, I've been talking about busyness, but really I wanted to talk about our culture's emphasis on productivity, and how, I know, you know, the thing is, everyone needs a different kind of encouragement because everyone has different struggles and different ways of processing their world. But I do know that a lot of people are like me and kind of struggle with feelings of value that are tied to production. So what have you produced today? What have you managed to do today? Even if you've had a busy day working on things and making improvements, if you don't have like a final product, if you didn't finish a project, it can be really hard to, like, it's easy to struggle with like feeling like you're somehow not a worthy person because you're not producing things. Or you know, this can extend in a more dramatic way to folks that are disabled, or, you know, like otherwise, you know, not able to produce in the way that our society tells us that we need to be people of value, when in reality we all have deep intrinsic value as human beings. And I feel like that message gets lost internally for a lot of us, feeling that intrinsic value, even though, for instance, yesterday afternoon, I spent the whole afternoon on the couch watching Dear White People, which is fantastic, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you should absolutely watch it. It's like a really, really, really good story that also makes you at the same time aware of your own biases and the way that you interact with people of color. It's just absolutely amazing. And then you're also not putting the labor on that, you know, person of color that you know to tell you all about it. Scott says, oh, I definitely struggle with that. Yeah, I think it's really, really common. And, you know, hey, I'm here to tell you what I need to hear all the time. And like, I even like struggle with some shame around how often I need to hear this, but you have value, and what you are doing has value, and you don't have to produce to be an amazing human being. What makes you an amazing human being is in here, and it's in your heart, and how you interact with other humans. And productivity, I feel like, I feel like our world is changing, and so much productivity is starting to be outsourced to technology. And I feel like this is probably going to be a big kind of mental health struggle of our time in the next couple of decades, is how, making sure that we all feel worthy as human beings, even if we're not producing. And I think tied in with that is perfectionism, right? Like wanting everything to be perfect all the time, and then feeling like you're not good enough if something isn't perfect. I really struggle with this. I don't like calling it perfectionism because I don't feel internally like I need anything to be perfect. But I have found, like, if I'm, if I have a day that is pretty productive and I'm busy and I'm working on things all day, but I didn't quite get to all the things on my extremely ambitious to-do list, then I can really feel awful, at the end of the day, and like I'm somehow a crap human, and not, like, because I didn't get my to-dos done, when in fact I often put together to-do lists that are like absolutely impossible. That when I put them together, I'm like, okay, this is highly ambitious, and perhaps over what's the word for being like extra positive? Like, it's like overly optimistic. And I know that, and it's like, well, if I happen to get to these things, and here's a priority list, and like, that's great, right? But then at the end of the day, even though I set myself up like that, I sometimes struggle with like, oh, I didn't get to everything I wanted to do. Gosh, when am I going to do these things? And, if I was somehow a better human being, I would have been able to do all these things. Oh, goodness, the things that we beat ourselves up with. So I would like to hear about if you experience this as well, and kind of what your coping mechanisms are. Like, how do you kind of set yourself up, or set the context for yourself so that you don't experience those feelings? And when you do, how do you cope with them? I would love to hear about it. But okay, now I've kind of talked about the things, and now I would like to play some things for you. So what I want to play today is some kind of what I'm thinking of is like sunshine music that just, I'm trying to shine on you. I want to shine on your soul and lift you up and make you feel beautiful and good. And not all my music is like that, right? My music is, I try to capture the most intense emotional internal human experiences, which are sometimes not beautiful and sometimes not good. But with this music, I want to shine sunshine on you. So, David says, I often feel like I'm not getting enough done or moving fast enough. And that sucks, because I happen to, I live with David, right? So I know that he works his butt off. I know he's working all the time, and he's always thinking about how he can do things better. And gosh, when you have to take a break, that's just human, right? We all have to take breaks. And I think it's especially a thing when you're working at home, working for yourself, because there's no structure or schedule of people around you who are doing pretty much about the same thing, so you're in this echo chamber of your own sort of negative judgments, and the pressure that you're putting on yourself, and the sort of framing that you're giving yourself. So I think you're amazing, David, and it makes me really sad that you feel like you don't get enough done or move fast enough. And here's Scott, and I know a lot about, we're really close, and I know a lot about how his life is, and I know he's constantly trying to be a better human and constantly working on one project or another. So the fact that we all feel this way it's wrong. Our brains are lying to us. I think that's important to realize. Okay, so now back to my sunshine music. So I have played the Sunset on the Chisos Mountains song, the music that I came up with that came to me in the desert when I had the keyboard set up in front of the mountains. I played that for you. I have not played, I actually started writing another song at that time, and I have not played that one on Monday Morning Coffee. And This last week, I finished Emerge, and it's beautiful. And I think I can just play it well enough to share it with you. It's still not where it's going to be when it's done. So here, you're my like insiders here. You're gonna get to hear this music while it's still kind of it's not in construction anymore, but it's almost like the bricks and the masonry are settling into my fingers and into my brain. So there will be some little pauses, there will be some missed notes, but you will be able to hear the overall shape of the music. So I want to say that because I want you to know that like when I record this, it's going to be more polished. It's going to be, but that's not what Monday Morning Coffee is about. This is my intention to invite you into my living room and show you what I'm working on and show you where I'm at, which like is kind of cool, right? Like historically, really only my close friends get to see that. So I'm happy to have you here. And I'm gonna play this sweet 3 pieces for you. And the first one is, it doesn't have a name yet, actually. So I came up with in the desert, in the Chihuahuan desert when I was at Big Bend. And then the second piece is the sunset in the Chisos Mountains. It doesn't really have a name, actually, so hit me with your name ideas as you listen. And then the third one is Emerge. And this one is just about just gently, softly, maybe a little unsure, emerging out of a cocoon, kind of like the world is doing and many of us are doing right now. Anyways, so I'm gonna play these 3 pieces for you. I hope you love them, and hit me with your ideas, like what are you visualizing as I play this music? But my overall intent is to shine some sunshine on your heart today.
Now I'm going to take a second and have a sip of coffee before I pop right into Emerge, which I talked about earlier. Let's see. Oh, hello. It's so lovely to see all of you. So sweet and pretty. Thank you. Yes, Rosie, let's have theme music for the day. Sunshine and love from me to you. Oh, Anton, I love that. Finally home. Which one was that the second one, the most recent one? I can't quite see the timestamp on this. I might have to go back through and like rewatch the live video with the chat so that I can see when everyone said those things. Thank you very much. Now I'm gonna play Emerge, which I think the last time I played that was when I was still over on Facebook Live. So some of you here might not have heard it. I started writing this one about 5 weeks ago or so. And it took me a little while, like I got about halfway through it and then I just kind of got a bit stuck, which happens very, very, very often. You know, I'll write like 2 minutes of music and I'll go, gosh, you know, I could wrap it up. But I feel like it needs to go somewhere still and I haven't figured out where. And like, you know, so I finally figured out where. But like I said before, this piece, just this last week, I've been practicing it to kind of get it into my fingers and into a bit of a flow. It's not quite totally solid yet, so you will probably hear me have little stumbles and things. Actually, those last 2 pieces were in that stage as well. And it's probably interesting. I mean, I'd imagine if I was in your shoes, I'd think that that was kind of interesting that like us composers, you know, we write things and we're often writing them in our mind and in our intentions. And it sometimes takes a little bit of time for like that, oh, I'm hearing this and I want it to like really get intense and I want it to really, but to teach the fingers to do that, we have to practice it. We have to practice our own music to be able to play it, as well as we'll eventually play it on a recording or in a live concert. So I don't consider these Monday morning coffees to be live concerts. Like I said earlier, it's just, hey, I'm inviting you into my home and this is where I'm at. And this is what I'm working on, and this is my Monday morning. Like, you know, your friend who's just stopped by for coffee and is a big fan too. That I have a couple friends who are way into my music and are like, will you play something for me? What are you working on right now? And it's been really fun. You're kind of like my insiders. So I get to share with you the things that are not released. You know, these things are not on streaming services. This is just where I'm at. Eventually, this will all be on streaming services in its kind of final polished form, but you get to see the process of how I get there.
Yeah, Scott says, actually, I'm going to share this. This is kind of cool that I can do this. I love hearing the process. It's so easy to get the feeling people are born being able to play when you only hear it after all the work and practice. That is so true. And oh my gosh, that's true about so many things, so many skilled things, right? We see the final product and we go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But then also then we go, I want to learn how to do that. And then we go have one lesson or even a year of lessons and we go, why can't I do that yet? And when in reality, a lot of that comes together with, you know, like hours and hours of commitment and consistency and discipline. And actually that commitment, that discipline is just such a beautiful thing because that's how we create greatness. I know that growing up, I was not taught that. I was taught to dream. I was taught, my mom was such a dreamer. So she taught me to dream big and you can do anything you want, but there was not really anything about how to get there, like the discipline and consistency necessary. So that's been this beautiful, like growing process for me as an adult to learn about that and to really honor that rather than be impatient with it and frustrated with it. Because I often sit down and I can do things like I can learn new things very, very quickly. But some things, no matter how quick your little mind is, some things take discipline and consistency and commitment. Gosh, relationships are like that too, aren't they? Okay, I'm digressing. It's this coffee. It's very caffeinated. So breathe a collective sigh of calmness with me because I'm going to play Emerge for you. And I think this one is going to be important. I don't know. This feels like one of those pieces that's like, I'm excited. So tell me what you think. Actually, that was a little less messy than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, yay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anton. Oh my goodness. Yes, this piece feels important to me somehow, like this journey of like from uncertainty and tentativeness and to yes, this is who I am, and this is my life, and the sense of joy and like freedom and self-actualization. I feel like it's important, and I feel like the kind of like the story of kind of how I'm going to tell the story and what it's about is probably going to evolve a little bit because the piece has evolved, you know. Oh, that was really fun to share with you. But goodness, this cold brew kind of like hit me right in the middle, and I started being like, so I've also been working on an interesting project the last couple of weeks. Back when the lockdown came down really hard in Austin last March, I think it was the end of last March, David and I had just landed in Austin, and for the first couple of weeks I was super sick, and so just coming out of that, and they announced that the next day the whole city was going to be locking down, and I had just signed a contract with Ian Urbina from the New York Times to do the Outlaw Ocean, to do Lost in the Azure for him, and I had, David and I were living in an Airbnb that was a converted garage, and we had our suitcases, like that's all our stuff was being shipped, so I had no piano or anything, and I put out a call on Facebook. Every teensy connection I had in Austin, I was like, I need a piano, I need a keyboard, I need something, please help me. This guy named Paul Morrow came through, and he messaged me, and he was like, I have a keyboard you can borrow, come get it, like we'll do a distanced and hand sanitized handoff, and you can keep it for as long as you want. So he was a lifesaver to me, and I told him, well, once I get established in Austin, I have a recording studio in my home, and I would be happy to record you because you've really saved my bacon here. So a couple weeks ago, he called me and he was like, so is this offer still on the table? Because I have a song that I would like to record. And it's like a 1940s lounge singer cover of Ozzy Osbourne's Mr. Crowley. And which, as you know, like lounge singing, drums, it's like a little bit different than anything I've ever recorded before. But I was like, you know what, I'm happy to give it a shot. And we've had a really great time last week and the week before. We took a day and like recorded the piano, which that was easy, put together a drum track, which is a wonderful, fun challenge, recorded his vocals, and it's coming out pretty cool, and it's been really fun to work with somebody else on their project and like help his vision come to life. So I don't know, there might be a little bit more of that, or in any case, I'm just very keen to collaborate because, as you know, a lot of the 52 was just kind of working in my own little echo chamber because, writing a piece every week, there just wasn't a lot of time to collaborate. But I love working with other musicians. So I'm gonna end as I usually do. This was a little bit more music than usual, but I really wanted to share that trio of pieces with you because I feel like they're kind of connected somehow. They're both this sort of sunshine music. And now I'm gonna close with a nice fresh Monday morning improvisation, or an improv. And if you don't know what this is, it's basically I'm just gonna make up some music right now. Just boom, we're gonna make up some music. And the thing about improvs, they could be wonderful, amazing. They could be, it's okay. It's basically like a microcosm of where my brain is at, where my creative spirit is at, how alert I am, like all of those things. And it'll only ever happen once because, it's an improvisation. I'm just gonna make it up right here. So let's give something a shot. I should probably be in a different key than what I've been playing, which is kind of like E major, B major space. I should probably get out of that because I don't want to accidentally bring in some of the music I've just been playing. So let's do D minor. That seems like a nice contrast. Let's see if I can make sunshine music in a minor key. Ooh, that's gonna be hard. Bear with me, it might not be sunshine music. We'll see what it is. Hey, I think that worked. I think I was able to do like Sunshine in a minor key. It wasn't actually in D minor. It's like I started in D minor, but I think that was actually like maybe some B flat major action. Yay! Oh, it's my pleasure. I love Monday morning coffee, especially when I have so many of you lovely people talking with me. It really makes my Monday morning. It makes me feel so motivated and kick-started. It's the best. I always feel good talking with you all. Thank you for being here, DJ. And thank you, Scott, Rosie, Anton. I'm trying to make sure I catch everybody. David. Oh, I'm so happy you're all here. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for saying that you're here, because otherwise I just see like a little person icon with a number. So I don't know, I don't know who all is here. So it's just lovely to see exactly who is actually here because you're commenting and saying hello. Let's see. Oh, thank you. I feel like it's why I'm here, is to make this music, and not just music, but I feel like I really try to capture the most powerful internal human emotional experiences, and not just focus on only the beauty. Like, I mean, gosh, those sublime feelings of joy are amazing, and I don't want to ignore them, but like so many of our most powerful emotional experiences are not joyful, are much more complicated than that, right? Like our experience is so much more complicated than one thing. And I really, really love trying to transmute those feelings into music. I kind of have this thought that maybe like it can be therapeutic for some people, who maybe have trouble feeling their big feelings. Listening to my music can help them feel and unlock those big feelings in themselves, kind of experience those. So, goodness, it's been a long one because I've been a chatty Cathy, and then I've played an extra song. Usually I just do 3, but today was a 4-piece kind of day. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Please do something for yourself today, even if it's 30 seconds, like I know how busy we all get, but please just take a couple of minutes to do something that just brings you uncomplicated joy, because you're worth it. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week. Next week, I will be in Seattle. I'm going to be in Seattle for 2 weeks. I'm going to see David's parents. I almost knocked my coffee over. And visit with some friends, and also bury my mother, who passed away last May. We just haven't been able to get up there. So wish me luck. Next week I will be on a keyboard at my friends Jeff and Britt's house, and there may be a toddler toddling around. And then the following week I haven't decided what I'm going to do because I might be on an airplane. So I'm thinking I might bring on a special guest who can play or maybe just chat about the creative process. I'd be interested to know what sounds interesting to you. So yeah, anyways, gosh, I'm chatty right now. Have a wonderful, wonderful week and take care of yourself, please. Mwah. See you next week.